On this edition of Fulton County Pet Tales, one of Fulton's top leaders addresses the county's need for a new animal shelter. And I'll introduce you to a local resident who welcomed a new friend into her family during one of Lifeline's adoption promotions. That and more starts right now on Fulton County Pet Tales. Welcome to Fulton County Pet Tales. I'm Karen Hirsch, Public Relations Director for Lifeline Animal Project. After hearing from animal activists and community members, Fulton makes good on its promise to address its animal shelter. But before the first nail is hammered, Fulton leaders host multiple public meetings for the public to offer their input on the proposed construction. The purpose of these meetings was to help determine a number of factors, including space site selection, space requirements, and operational needs. When we come back, Deputy Chief Operating Officer for Public Safety, Fulton Adams, explains how the county's current shelter has become outdated and why the public input for a new one is so important. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Fulton County Pet Tales. I'm Karen Hirsch from Lifeline Animal Project. Fulton County leaders and county residents want to ensure the design and construction of Fulton County's new animal shelter is done right. Joining us now to explain why public input is so important is Deputy Chief Operating Officer for Public Safety, Fulton Adams. Mr. Adams, welcome to Pet Tales.
Hi Karen, thanks for having me.
Please explain why Fulton County is looking to build a new animal shelter.
The reason that we are looking to build a new animal shelter is really for three reasons. One, the current facility is 40 years old. It was built in 1978 and it was built and designed for the population and the population of animals that we had at that time. As you can imagine, with the growth of Fulton County and the cities surrounding Fulton County, that the number of dogs that we deal with on a daily basis and the services that we need to provide have outgrown the current facility.
What can you tell us about the feasibility study the Board of Commissioners approved?
Well, the feasibility study is the first step in us defining exactly where the new animal shelter should be built, what type of services it should provide. And when I mean services, I mean in addition to housing the animals, it'll give us an indication of do we need to have, or how much space do we need to have for behavioral training? Do we need to have a service space that allows us to provide training for individuals who might adopt pets? Should we have a retail, or should retail be part of the new shelter? How big should it be, and also how much it will cost us when we do in fact start building the facility.
What kind of feedback have you received?
Well, the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. As you can imagine, as I mentioned, 65% of households have pets, and so there is a very strong interest in the new facility. Anyone who has gone to the current facility walks away saying, I think, wow, we ought to be doing better. And so the response that we've gotten from the community is, great that you're doing this. Look forward to seeing what the new facility will look like. Can't wait. We've also had individuals say, hey, how can I help? Can I help raise money? Can I help provide some sponsorship? So we're very touched by the type of response we've had from the community and very encouraged, quite frankly, about the type of support we're going to receive when we build the new facility.
Talk about the changes taking place at the current shelter that will help some of the overcrowding.
Well, when we looked at the current shelter, there were a number of things that we felt we needed to fix or remediate immediately. It's no secret that we've had challenges with rodents because of where the facility is located. So one of the things we did was we changed the pest control cadence. We started to do some things around the facility to reduce the infestation, and we've had good results there. The second thing that we needed to do was fix the front of the house. That is where you walk in and actually either bring your pet or come in to register for an adoption. And so what we've done there is basically gutted the entire front of the building, and we're improving the space that our citizens most experience when they first walk in. We're upgrading the facilities for our volunteers, and we're upgrading the area where Lifeline and their employees provide services. So that was really, really important, something that we needed to do. And the third thing we're doing is we're looking at an overflow facility not too far from the current facility. So in the short term, we can alleviate some of the overcrowding that we see in the kennels. The kennels that our current dogs are staying in, sometimes 6 to 8 dogs per kennel, were designed to house 1, potentially 2. And so you can imagine that a combination of all of those animals has created a bit of a space issue. We actually do our spaying and neutering in a trailer behind the current facility because we just don't have enough space, and we don't have the ability to provide the kinds of services we need to, given the demand that we have from the community.
Why is the current shelter and the eventual new shelter so important to the county and its residents?
Well, I think it's important for a number of reasons. One, there are a large number of individuals in the county, as I mentioned, a large percentage of households have pets, who are very interested in and committed to how we treat the animals, how we treat dogs and cats and other animals that come into the current animal shelter. So that's one. There is just a pure, what I'd call, commitment to better treatment of the animals. I think the second reason why it's so important is that in a lot of ways the way you treat your animals is a reflection of the community itself. One of our learnings when we talked to some of the companies that bid on doing the feasibility study is that there are a number of cities, peer cities, in the south, in the northeast, in the west, that have much better facilities that reflect the sophistication and the level of the community. And so we think that it's really, really important. We are a world-class county. We have world-class cities, and we think that we deserve an animal shelter that reflects that. And so it's really, really important for the animals. It's important for the community itself, and quite frankly, it's about time.
Deputy Chief Operating Officer for Public Safety, Alton Adams. Great information. Thank you again for joining us on Pet Tales.
Thanks for having me.
Up next, I'm introducing a local woman who took advantage of Lifeline Animal Project's free adoption event by welcoming a new four-legged friend to her family. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Fulton County Pet Tales. I'm Karen Hirsch from Lifeline Animal Project. In June of 2019, Lifeline Animal Project, which manages animal services in Fulton and DeKalb counties, hosted a free pet adoption event. During the 2-week event, adoptions of dogs and cats were free. Fees for spaying, neutering, microchipping, and vaccinations were also waived, a $300 value total. Coming up shortly, I'll share some amazing stats about that promotion. But first, I wanted to introduce Malie Miller. She's a Fulton County resident who adopted Martin, a mixed breed. Malie wanted to share her story and her love for Martin for everybody to hear. She invited me to her house for an interview. Take a look. So thank you for joining us on Pet Tales. What made you want to take advantage of Fulton County Animal Services Adoption Special?
I had just put my dog down in February that I was very close to and had had for a while. It took me a little while to get over that, but I decided I was ready and started looking, and I was looking on pet finders and all the places where people normally look, and online I saw that Fulton County was having a adoption fee waived adoption event. And it's close, and I decided to just go down there and take a look and be able to see somebody firsthand. And sometimes it's hard to get some of the rescues to respond back to you online. So I thought I would go down there and see what they had to offer and be able to see somebody firsthand.
Well, you ended up adopting Martin.
I did.
Could you tell us a little about his backstory and why you ended up adopting him?
I was told that he came in as a puppy. And so he had been there for well over a year, and he'd started to show some serious signs of stress from being in the kennels for over a year, they had put him on the euthanasia list. So one of the kennel workers there, all the kennel workers there are great, and they're also friendly and talk to you, had approached me about Martin, knowing what I was looking for, and told me his story. And he actually had just taken him home for a couple of days to try to see if they could relieve the stress a little bit. And I was interested in him, so he had his partner bring him right to the kennel. And I fell in love with him and brought him home.
Talk about the shelter's adoption counselors and how they worked with you.
All of the adoption counselors were very friendly. They took a lot of time to take you around. They'll get out as many dogs as you want to get out and take you to the meet and greet areas. I ended up having a conversation with the woman who's the intake counselor, and she sat down with me for a while because I needed a dog that could do specific things with me. That they need to be able to travel and be super friendly and things like that.
And you work with horses.
I do work with horses, so he's exposed to cats, cows, pigs, goats, chickens, people, kids. She sat down and actually had a really long conversation with me about what I was looking for, and we got on the computer and looked at a number of dogs who were in need of needing to go, that were being stressed in the kennel, were having problems.
Right.
And so we had picked out a couple to look at because I wanted to get somebody that was in need.
Sure.
They're all need homes, but yeah. So they were really great. They took all the time. They were very friendly. And Q specifically, who hooked me up with, his name was Astor at Fulton County.
Okay.
His name's Martin now, but Q sort of went beyond and to get us hooked up and make it work out. So
and how has he been since you've brought him home?
he has been very good. He's young and high energy. He's a pit boxer mix, so I had to know that and be committed to doing some things in the house that sets him up to succeed. But he's been great. He's really, only thing he's chewed up is cardboard, which doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
But he rides in the car. Like I said, he's friendly with everybody. He loves kids. I've got pictures of him at kids camps. He loves all my clients. He likes the horses. He rides good in the car. He's been good home by himself. There was a little bit of anxiety period because he's used to being in a kennel all day long with activity.
Yeah.
So when I would leave him alone, he was a little bit nervous.
Right.
But we just worked with that, and he's done great. Really, pretty much nothing I've asked him to do, he hasn't succeeded at.
So has he added joy to your life? Can you talk about that?
Definitely. Like I said, I put my other dog down in February, and we were very, very close. It took me a long time to get over that. Martin's very different from Peter, but I think that's good because there's no comparing.
Right.
He's a completely different personality, and I think with the boxer in him, he's just a jokester. He's funny all the time. He does silly things all the time. He does silly things and then he looks at you to see if you thought that was funny. So he's made an easy transition because he just loves life.
Yeah.
And he's funny, and he just has made it not a comparison. And he runs with me, and yeah, he's
your best buddy.
He is. He's very funny. He's learned that water and swimming is the most awesome thing ever. So we try to do something in water every couple of days.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's really a great dog. So many of them are great.
Yeah.
And I think when you go to adopt, I think you need to really understand that the personality that you're seeing that day is not their personality. They're so shut down. Both of my dogs have taken a year for their full personalities to come out and be who they really are. So, you got to give them a minute.
What would you say to someone who's on the fence about adopting?
I think you should always adopt. I know everybody always wants to buy a dog and they want a specific breed of dog, but there's so many dogs out there that need homes that are already here, and there's purebred dogs who need homes of almost any kind that you would want. So I think you should always consider adoption first. And I think puppies are hard sometimes, and there's so many adult dogs who are already down the road and are easier to bring home than puppies.
Yep, I agree.
And the Fulton County specifically, all the kennel workers there are so welcoming and warm and really know all the dogs. As many as there are, they know them all, and they can talk with you about what you're looking for, what you need, what your home life is, what kind of dog you want, and they can hook you up with something that will fit your needs.
Well, I think she is so lucky. Look at this, that she got you. She's made herself at home.
Yeah.
And we thank you so much for adopting with us and saving a life.
Well, thanks for coming by and meeting him and showing everybody how great a pit bull can be.
What a great story. We wish nothing but the best for Millie and Martin. A quick follow-up about Lifeline Animal Project's free adoption event. During the 10-day event, 807 animals at Fulton's and DeKalb's shelter were adopted. 560 dogs, 246 cats, and 1 rabbit. Our staff was so busy that they didn't have time to take breaks. Luckily, our volunteers stepped up by bringing the staff meals. Lifeline Animal Project has similar events throughout the year. You can always check out our website, lifelineanimal.org, to find out when our next one is taking place. We're back to wrap up the show after this short break. That's all our time. Thank you for joining us on Fulton County Pet Tales, and a special thanks to our guests today. We want to connect with you online. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can watch a replay of this show and other FGTV programming anytime on the FGTV YouTube channel. I'm Karen Hirsch. We'll see you next time.